So I had this client come to me because her dog had chronic pancreatitis, had had it for years, and was still struggling on a kind of daily basis, was really super hypersensitive and um, didn't want to be touched. And obviously, if the dog is kind of in pain, that sort of makes sense, right? But she really got a sense that there was more going on. There was a barking that was kind of starting, maybe obsessively, things like that. So she came to me and said, "Can we do a reading and let's find out, what's really going on? Is there anything else other than this chronic pancreatitis that's kind of happening?" So I dove in and we did a reading and I assessed the situation. And it was evident and clear to me that while there was, sort of chronic health issues going on, there was other emotional stuff that was going on. And the behavior, this barking and pacing and all this kind of stuff was going on, was kind of revealing to me that there was something going on underneath the surface. So we discovered in our chat together that while my client was retired and looking forward to um, pursuing her personal interests, the hobbies and things that she loved to do. She wasn't able to do all those hobbies because she was too busy doing things for other people, volunteering to the point where she was burnt out and overwhelmed and didn't even get a chance to work on what she loved most because she was too busy spreading herself thin, people pleasing, doing all that kind of stuff. And that's sort of what that behavior, that underneath the surface behavior, the dog was kind of telling me about, right? And so once my client got the message, her dog stopped pacing virtually overnight just by getting the message and understanding what was going on. And then the two of us did some one-on-one work together, and I helped her with that people pleasing and helped her find that passion for her hobbies, for her creative hobbies again, and kind of bring that to the foreground as opposed to all this needing to help and fix other people, right? Once we worked on that, her dog stopped barking immediately. And it was interesting because the next morning, after we had like one of our sessions together, her dog actually jumped up on the bed in the morning and came in for snuggles. And that dog hadn't done that in about 5 years. And even her husband, who wasn't really aware of the work that we were doing together and the conversations we were having with her animal, wasn't aware of that in any way. Even he remarked that he was surprised at how the dog had stopped sort of squirming away from being touched and had become more social and wanted to engage. And he was very surprised at a shift that he had seen in the dog, but wasn't aware of the shift that we had been making under the surface with his wife. And the final comment came from the husband a couple of weeks later on how happy he was to notice that she had been doing her hobbies and how much happier she seemed. And he kind of made a little bit of a link between her happiness and her fulfilling of her emotional desire to be creative and to pursue her passions. He made the link between how she was feeling and how the dog had responded, even though he wasn't involved in any way in what we were doing. And this kind of happens a lot where bystanders of clients that I work to make these comments like they notice that things have shifted and they're not really quite sure why, but they love the shift, right? And that's what happens when we kind of work on things below the surface, underneath what's really going on. And when we listen to our animals and say, I get it. I get that you're trying to tell me something. I really want to find out what it is. And then I want to take action to make things better for both of us. And when people do that, they reach out to me and we make these kind of amazing things happen for everyone, for both people and animals. So any of this resonates with you and you want to find out what your animal's trying to tell you with their health or behavior issues, then reach out to me and let's do a reading and give you some insight as to what's going on. So reach out.